Hello, everybody, and welcome to the sixth ever episode of the XFFL Show. I'm your host, Josh Menschel, the owner, captain, head coach of the New England Nexus, and the commissioner of the XFFL. We've already been down 3 weeks so far, if you can believe it, in the NFL, obviously, in the XFFL season so far, and there is an upset this week, and some other very, very close games and a nearby first victory for a team that is just full of potential talent. They haven't really developed yet, so it's kind of a wait and see, and we're still waiting on that certain win from you know who. But let's, as the bottom of the screen says, recap week number 3. Let's start off with a very close game. Came down to the wire. Alpine Extreme defeating the Cleveland Clowns 109-58 to 107-44. Lamar Jackson had 20 points, a solid outing. Adam Thielen, 17 points, and Kamara topped it with 20.8. On the other side, just wasn't enough. Kyler Murray, 19.5. Can't really argue there, but Nick Chubb only 8 points on the day. It was actually Kareem Hunt that outdid that starting running back in Cleveland. You just hate to see it if you're the Cleveland Clowns. Next matchup, North Carolina Carpetbaggers defeating the Malone Mutiny by just 4 points. Oh, it just pains me. Jalen Hurts, 22.5 points, an interception earlier on. Could have swinged it a little here and there, but honestly, it is what it is at this point. Aaron Rodgers had 19 points. Eckler had 22. But the big story in this game, besides Malone not winning, Christian McCaffrey out. It's going to be from week to week, but they're saying upwards for 3 to 4 weeks, or it could be one of those injuries that just puts him out for the whole year. So something to look out for. But he does have Najee Harris and Austin Eckler still on that team, so he should be fine, but it's still the number 1 overall pick. Gone. Well, in most leagues, I should say. All right, moving on. The Rochester Revenge. Pounding, dominating, defeating the New York Potato Skins 139-10 to 79-34. The Potato Skins didn't even crack 80. The Malone Mutiny cracked over 100. What gives? Tom Brady, 16.5 points. DeAndre Hopkins, 5 points. What's up with that? TJ Hawkinson, 3 points. Jonathan Taylor, 8 points. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes, 25 points-ish. Good job. Stephon Diggs, 12. Chris Carson, 16. And Justin Jefferson, 26, almost 27 points. Wow. Yeah. You thought that was the shocker at all. It wasn't. He would say hashtag roll waves, but we're using the hashtag roll over waves as the Big Ben Blackbeards defeat the Riverhead Blue Waves 143-72 to 123.32. Cowboy Connection. Dak Prescott, 20 points. Ezekiel Elliott, 26 points. CeeDee Lamb, he had 9, but he still got the job done. DK Metcalf had 22 points as well. Riverhead Blue Waves, what's there to say? Amari Cooper, 5 points. Bust, at least for this game. Rob Gronkowski, only 9 points and is questionable moving forward, so you should play against the Patriots this week because that's the game. Only 16 points for Russell Wilson, so looking at you, Mr. Anthony Carragher, I thought you were going to be on the show this week. Afraid not, with only 123 points in the loss, I might add. Oof. But the final game, and it pains me to say this. It doesn't pain me. It doesn't pain me as much as losing the championship or anything. Anyway, let's get to it. Charlotte Woo Outlaws defeating the New England Nexus 148-52 to 111-24. Justin Herbert, newly acquired for the New England Nexus, 30 points on the day. Logan Thomas had 12, Mike Evans 18, Aaron Jones 17, and pretty much everyone else on my team did nothing, including AJ Brown, who's now questionable and is now week to week. You'll love to see it. For the Charlotte Woo Outlaws, Josh Allen, 37 points. 4 touchdowns on the day. That's just insane. And a rushing touchdown too. So, Cooper Kupp putting up a dominant performance again, 30.6 points. Barkley showing his old style again, 21 points on the day. Yeah. And Mike Gesicki too, 18.6. That's something we're not used to seeing from Mike Gesicki. He had 0 points in week 1, 7 points in week 2, and then just 18 in week 3. Was it because of Jacoby Brissett? Probably was because of Jacoby Brissett. But yeah. But overall, that's week 3, and that's how it shook up. But as you just saw right there, the highest point total, of course, was against me. Of all the teams and all the matchups, of course, we're going to have to dive in to the game that I was in. I'd like to introduce everybody to the one and only scoring captain of the Charlotte Outlaws, Mike Warren. How's it going, sir?
It's going good. 2 in a row. I'll take it.
2 in a row indeed. Let's talk about it. Obviously, I won't get too down in the dumps about it, but overall, going into the game, were you expecting the way things shook up, just overall?
I did think I'd win. Not to sound cocky. I just thought the matchups played into my favor this week, but I thought it'd be a little bit closer. I mean, if you would have told me both of our flex guys would have done absolutely nothing, and I still would have won as much as I did, I would have said you were nuts. But you can't help injuries 2 minutes into the game with James White, and as usual with Patriot guys, they'll be great one week, they'll choke the next week. Mm-hmm. So that's where that happened. And if I play Nyheim Hines, I score 20 more at the end of the day.
Well, speaking of guys who know how to score points, and it's Cooper Kupp. Now, as you see on the screen, everybody, he has 91 points through the first 3 games. So he's averaging basically 30 points a game. I want to just take a few steps back. And when I mean a few steps back, a couple weeks back to the draft. Was there ever a doubt between Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, or where are you just thankful that you got Cooper Kupp, or did you know that you wanted Cooper Kupp?
I kind of see the way my draft strategy is I kind of go for best available, and you kind of have to do that with the way our draft is. I'm going to take one out of Bill Belichick and Ozzie Newsome's playbook. You take the best available guy because that's going to help you at the end of the game, and you don't go off it. So Kupp at that time was available. Now, if you would have told me Kupp would turn into my number 1 receiver at this point in the season, I would have said you were nuts, because I would have thought Julio would be getting a few more catches here and there. I actually thought T. Higgins would be doing even a little bit better than he was right now. But I can't complain with this move because we really didn't know what Stafford was going to bring to the Rams, and it's kind of shifted the whole basis of that entire team.
Now, you're really good at segueing, although I did prompt you with these questions before. You have Josh Allen, obviously. The guy's a beast, but you also have Matt Stafford too. What's your strategy moving forward? Is this just plug and play best matchup, or is it kind of Josh Allen until he kind of bites you in the butt?
Looking at the schedule for the Buffalo Bills, it's Josh Allen all the way. I mean, if you take a look, I think Bill will throw something at him for the Patriots, but really, I think his toughest defensive game was probably the weirdest NFL score of the year so far with the Steelers that nobody saw coming. I think you got to ride Josh Allen until he has trouble, but it's nice to have Stafford as an ace in the hole. There probably will be weeks he outscores him, but it might not be that much. Keep in mind also, Buffalo's bye week, Stafford plays Detroit. I planned that out quite well as he was coming up.
You planned that out, or you found that out?
Well, I found that out the day of but that was part of my, hey, I'm looking at this. That's his bye week. Ooh, I might take him as the backup. Because that way, 1, valuable trade piece toward the end before the deadline if necessary. 2, if God forbid Josh Allen gets hurt, which we've seen that already with a couple guys this year, I have a piece where it's almost plug and play and I don't really lose much.
Okay. Well,
especially because there's a quarterback I would pick up that I think is shocking everyone right now that I don't believe is on a team.
Kirk Cousins is not on a team.
Which is crazy to think with how well he's playing that nobody went from him. They probably will after watching this, but hey.
Yeah, well, I have 3 quarterbacks, so I think I'm set in that department. Speaking of I guess, department segueing players. Is there anywhere on this team that you want to make a move on, or you sticking firm with what you got right now?
I would like a better tight end right now, and I think there's always room for getting better in the flex spot depending on who it is. I mean, the thing we got to find out, like you mentioned a little bit earlier, is just because of Jacoby Brissett, because Gesicki's numbers have gone up since Tua got hurt. There's no question about that. Or is it, hey, they finally get him in the offense and it's just a game plan work that way? We got to find that out. I mentioned Naeem Hines earlier. Yeah, I could have played him in that spot, but the way Taylor's been playing, why would I do that? Like it's one of those, okay. And James White the week before, I was trying to ride the hot hand. It's tough, but T Higgins also would have been in that spot no matter what, most likely if he hadn't have been hurt. So it's a game throughout the weeks. There's plenty of weeks to go, and I'm sure there's a couple more waiver steals we're all worrying about.
Well, moving to week 4, big matchup against the Riverhead Blue Waves. Before we kind of get into the trash talking per se, I kind of have my eyes on someone in this matchup, but who do you feel is the guy to watch this week for your team?
I mean, it's still got to be Cooper Kupp at this point. I mean, he's been on fire, but I think Julio also because and unfortunately, I feel bad for you when I say this, but with the trouble with Brown on the Titans, you don't know how. Now, this also could play, but the problem is it could also play into Derrick Henry's favor, which could end up burning me at the end of the day.
That was my guy too. I mean, Julio Jones, stats wise, only 3 catches for 127, but the previous week had 6 for 128. So it's pretty much however Ryan Tannehill feels. And I guess looking at it, you're totally fine with Julio being your number 2 on that team.
Hey, I'm playing with points. I'm not playing with. It is what it is. Remember, I kept Juju a couple years ago, and he quickly worked himself. The year I won the championship, quickly worked himself out of there.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. Now, as you know, and as everybody knows, this is the section of the show where we let you have the floor. You're facing off against Anthony Carragher and the Riverhead Blue Waves. So
Well, Tone, this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to go a different route than you usually go. I know you're talking, your head's big. Hopefully, you got knocked down a few picks. But you know what? I'm coming for you this week. I have pulled upsets before. I have won games close before. I do not fear you in this league, especially if Dalvin Cook doesn't play, which may hurt me in real life. You might want to watch your back because if I beat you, I'm 3-1. And all of a sudden, you got a worthy adversary to worry about. We'll see you this week. Hashtag rollover waves.
all right, those are the fighting words from Mr. Scorn Mike Warren for Anthony Carragher. Again, hashtag rollover waves if you don't know. But yeah, we're going to switching gears. XFFL Show previewing week number 4. And just to stick with it, because we've already been talking about it, let's talk about the first matchup, which involves the Charlotte Woo Outlaws versus the Riverhead Blue Waves. Again, Josh Allen's going up against the Houston Texans defense. Pretty much a guaranteed 35, 40 points. Julio Jones, although he may be questionable, still thinking a big outing, way over 16, 17, 18 points, well over that. But again, still the Riverhead Blue Waves. Russell Wilson, Adams, Allen, Henry, Cook, questionable, Gronk, questionable, and Amari Cooper. It's still a stacked lineup. But I think I'm going to give the advantage to Charlotte Will Outlaws just on the sole fact of matchups. I do like Derrick Henry versus the Jets, but Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, and Tony Gibson versus Atlanta. I'm taking that matchup. Now switching gears to our next game, the New England Nexus versus the New York Potato Skins. Tom Brady versus Justin Herbert. Herbert has a really good matchup, but also Tom Brady has a pretty good matchup too. This should be a very close game. Again, he's got Brady. I have Mike Evans, so kind of cancels out both in some sort of way. I don't know. I'm going to pick me. Uh, sorry. But I do like Logan Thomas versus Atlanta. I think that's a favorable matchup, but there's also the other side thing, Joe Mixon versus Jacksonville, the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football. That's also a favorable matchup too. It's hit or miss. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm just going to squeak out the edge. To me, I do think Tom Brady is going to have a very good game, though, when it comes to end. But still going to pick me in the New England Nexus. Next matchup, the Cleveland Clowns versus the Malone Mutiny. Kyler Murray is going up against the Rams. I don't really like that, but Kyler Murray is 3-0, so who knows? As of right now, Jalen Hurts is slotted for the Malone Mutiny. He's going against Kansas City. People are so on the fence with the Kansas City defense. I don't think they're that good. I think they're very overrated. They got some great players, but there's a lot of holes missing, aka the linebacking core, aka some of the secondary that's not named the Honey Badger. Oh, man. If this is a game that the Chris Piccaro and the Malone Mutiny do have a chance to win, but I see Tyreek Hill and I'm seeing Philadelphia Eagles, and they have nobody in that secondary. They have Darius Slay. That's pretty much it. I'm going Cleveland Clowns on that sole notion, but Kareem Hunt versus Nick Chubb, both sides. I like it. I like seeing it. I like the game, but I'm picking Cleveland Clowns in this one. Next matchup, the North Carolina Carpetbaggers versus the Rochester Revenge. This is supposed to be a very close game as well. Patty Mahomes versus Philadelphia. We already discussed that. He's going to go off. Aaron Rodgers versus Pittsburgh. He should go off, but I like Pittsburgh's defense here and there. It's now the duo of Eckler and Najee Harris and no longer Christian McCaffrey. Again, this is slotted to be close. Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to pick the Carpetbaggers again. I do like Patrick Mahomes' chances, but they might be up by a lot, so they may be running the ball more. There's an opportunity. Chris Godwin, favorable matchup versus the Patriots. I still think Tom Brady's just going to do the biggest and baddest revenge game possible. So for that reason alone, I'm picking the Carpetbaggers. And our final matchup of the day, well, the week, I should say. The Alpine Extreme versus the Big Bend Blackbeards, coming off a huge win over the Riverhead Blue Waves. Dak Prescott versus Carolina Panthers. That looks mighty good. Lamar Jackson versus Denver. Denver does have a very sneaky good defense, and Lamar Jackson is known for running the ball. So I don't know. Some other matchups. DK's going against San Fran. San Fran's got a really good defense, so I don't be surprised if they shut that down. But again, the Cowboy trio, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Ezekiel Elliott, it's very, very hard to kind of go against, especially against Carolina. Carolina is a good team, but I still think the Cowboys are a better team. Yeah. And Travis Kelce again. Chiefs versus Eagles. If you guys are doing any betting whatsoever, just put everything on the Chiefs and pick every player from the Chiefs, because this is going to be downright ugly. I'm picking the Big Ben Blackbeards. I think Dak's going to have a good day. I think Travis Kelce is going to also have a good game. That's all said and done. But yeah, that does it for previewing week 4 of the XFFL show. It's been solid so far. We've had one major trade, Justin Herbert for Kareem Hunt. I now have Justin Herbert. I have 3 quarterbacks. What will I do with them? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to another week. And coming for you, Mr. Brian Michella and those potato skins. Will he get over 80 points? Probably. Will he beat me? Also probably. But who knows? Still a lot of storylines. Will the Malone Mutiny finally get a win and be able to come on the XFFL show? Will the River Blue Waves decide to roll waves again, or is it roll over waves again? And will the Alpine Extreme be able to take it to the extreme? I don't know, because his good friend Jeff Skipper Bell will have something to say about that. Again, appreciate you all for tuning in for another episode of the XFFL show. We'll see you next week with another recap, another preview, and another special guest. But who will it be? We'll find out. See you later.